The Capital One Quicksilver Secure Card. Is it still valuable in today's market? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about who this card is right for, some of the perks you get from the Capital One Quicksilver card, and the credit score you would need for best odds of approval. Let's get into it. And to be completely transparent, because I don't want to waste anyone's time, but this card is more geared towards beginners and not someone who is a credit card enthusiast that has a credit card for all categories like dining, gas, grocery stores, the whole nine. If you have a card for every single category, then this card isn't right for those individuals. This card is more so geared towards people who are trying to establish their credit or fix their credit. So if you're not in that category and you already have a very good credit score, then this video probably won't be that useful to you. But if you just want to watch it for entertainment purposes, because this is not financial advice, then that's completely fine. Also, if you're interested in signing up for the Capital One Quicksilver card, any one from the lineup, if you use the link in the description, it helps the channel out and I would greatly appreciate it. So like I was saying before, this card is for people who are trying to establish their credit or build their credit. That's the secure part of it. And basically what that means is that you will have to put down a deposit. And the fact of this card typically is a $200 deposit. That's exactly what I did when I was trying to build my credit. I started with the Capital One Quicksilver Secure card because that was literally the only card I could get. Because when I got approved for this card, I had lower than a 620 credit score. So my credit score was pretty low when I was trying to reestablish it, because I did mess it up over the years because I was unaware of how to build credit and how to establish it and just how to go about it. But yes, you will have to put $200 down, and that $200 serve as your credit limit on your Quicksilver Secure card. And that $200 is refundable. If you have good credit card usage and you use the card properly throughout a certain time limit, Capital One will eventually refund you that money. Basically what Capital One is trying to weed out is if you are truly responsible with your credit card without using their money, but using your own money, which I think is very fair. And on the website, Capital One also would recommend that your credit level be fair before you even attempt to get this credit card, which I would say as long as you don't have anything crazy on your credit, you should be able to get approved for this card with the $200 deposit. And also $200 is the number that I'm using in this video. That's the minimum deposit, meaning that's the lowest amount that you could put in, which that's what I went with. That's why I'm talking about that amount the majority in this video. But I think it goes all the way up to $1,000 that you can actually put on this card. So you could have a $1,000 credit limit from the money that you put in. But I'm not completely positive on the max amount that you could put on the Capital One Quicksilver Secure card. Me personally, like I said, I put $200 on this card, which is the minimum deposit, meaning that's as low as you can go. That's the least amount of money that you could put on this card. And I did just that because at the time that I got approved for this card, I didn't have the money to actually put on there besides the $200. But I am glad that I do have this card and I don't necessarily need it, but it is sitting there helping my credit grow because it helps my length of credit history. So say you wanted to apply for the Capital One Quicksilver Secure card and you didn't want it to affect your credit score. Well, there is an option to do so to see if you pre-approve for the card. And a pre-approval doesn't mean you'll actually get approved whenever you go for the real application. It's just showing you your odds of approval. And it's pretty likely that you will get approved for the card if you do get approved for the pre-approval, but Capital One does give you the option to see if you're pre-approved for the card before actually trying to apply for it. You do want to see if you pre-approve for the card before you actually go for it, because the pre-approval will not affect your overall credit score, but the actual application will affect your credit score. But the thing I was most excited about when I got approved for the Capital One Quicksilver Secure card is the fact that it does offer rewards. So although you have to put a minimum $200 down in order to get the card or get a credit limit on the card, you still do gain rewards. The Capital One Quicksilver Secure card offers 1.5% cash back on every purchase, which is a huge perk for someone who doesn't get any cash back or any rewards for using their card. Like for example, if you use your debit card everywhere, you don't get anything for that. This is the first credit card that I ever got that I also got rewards. which is that 1.5% cash back. And that cash back does add up over time the more you use the card. But obviously with such a low credit limit, especially if you only put the minimum deposit down being $200, you don't want to spend over 10% of that actual $200, because some people would say 30%, that's the sweet spot. But me personally, I like to say don't use over 10% of your credit card, meaning you really can't spend much money on this card if your credit limit is $200. I literally only use it to buy things like Tic Tacs or gum from the gas station whenever I did, or coffee in the morning if I got coffee in the morning. So it's not really a card that you will utilize that much with this low of a credit limit, but it actually just teaches you how to be responsible with a credit card and use it in the right place at the right time. Well, that's at least how I did it, and it helped my credit score tremendously. It went from under 620 all the way up to 700 in a very short amount of time. Obviously, everyone is different in the way that they measure these things. I couldn't tell you that, but I can tell you it did help me out tremendously. And it is extremely important that you pay those balances off in full every month. You will start to have interest attached to the money that you actually don't pay off every single month. So be very sure to pay your balances off in full every month. If you don't think you can, or you don't have the money, actually don't even use the credit card. Just hold off on that purchase and only use it for things you know you could pay for. Even if you're almost sure you'll have the money to pay your credit card balance in full that month, still don't take the risk if you don't have the money right then and there when making the purchase. This is a no annual fee card. I personally have this card, and this card personally helped me build my credit. It even in a way somewhat helped me establish my credit. So I can very much vouch for this card being very useful to those individuals, because if you use it properly and you use it responsibly, then it should do the job properly. But unfortunately, the majority of people don't use credit cards how they're intended to be used. So that's the Capital One Quicksilver Secure card and the things that it offers and who the card is right for. But Capital One does offer 3 other cards in the Quicksilver lineup. They have the Capital One Quicksilver 1 card, which I would not recommend that card simply because that card has an annual fee of $39, which they have better cards. So I would just avoid that one personally. And this is not financial advice, this is just my opinion. And then they have Quicksilver Rewards for Good Credit, which that card is pretty good, but honestly, I wouldn't recommend this one because this one does not come with a sign-on bonus. But the Quicksilver Rewards card, the one above that one, does come with a sign-on bonus. The sign-on bonus, you get $200 after you spend $500 within the first 3 months of opening that card. If you are eligible to get the Quicksilver Rewards card, you do get that sign-on bonus, but you do need excellent credit. So if you can get the Quicksilver Rewards card, I would say obviously go for that. If you just want the Quicksilver lineup, you have a few different options that you can get, but if you're trying to establish or build your credit, that's where the secure cards shine, and that's what this video is more geared around. For the most part, building your credit is something that takes time. It takes patience. It takes being very responsible and using the tools that's given to you to build your credit very wisely. So if you got anything from this video, it is, if you're going to use the credit card, use it as responsibly as possible. But with that being said, I'll see y'all on the next one.